today's lesson I will explain an important and simple grammar قاعدة المodal verbs of possibility of must, can't, could, and might. It's extremely important to know the uses of the modal verbs to better your understanding in writing and reading. So let's begin. What's the main point or use of modal verbs, which are called in Arabic أفعال الشكلية or نقص? These revolve around possibility or احتمال. So basically, all what we're going to discuss هو الاحتمالية. So our lesson is focusing on must, can't, could, and might. I will explain in detail each one in its job description. But first, to understand what is possibility, as I said, هو الاحتمالية. So, these أفعال are in stages which are certainty and uncertainty, which mean that درجات التأكد or غير تأكد. So again, we use various modal verbs to talk about degrees of certainty and uncertainty, and to speculate about possibility and impossibilities, which are تخمن لا شيء يعني تحتمل يعني شيء لا تحتمل and غير محتمل. So in brief, we have 4 words, and they involve the main point of this lesson. In Arabic, they are تأكد and عدم تأكد and شيء محتمل and غير محتمل. So that is what must, can't, could, and might mean. Okay, so we also need to know that these are helping verbs. Modal auxiliary verbs are verbs that cannot stand alone in a sentence. Again, these modal auxiliary verbs are verbs that cannot stand alone in a sentence. They must be followed by a main verb, which is always in the base form of a verb. So, most of modal verbs need verb 1 plus base. That is because they cannot stand alone, as I said. So, it needs a فعل يسندها, which is verb 1 plus base. So, let's start with our first modal, which is must. Now, if you notice that all 4 modals are similar, but I will explain each one in order. Must. When do we use must? Well, we use must when we are almost sure, yani like about 95% sure, and not 100. We can't say 100%. So the example that I gave you is Holmes is a brilliant detective. He must solve a lot of crimes. Yani 95% of the time, Holmes can solve all the crimes. Another example, my house is very near the motorway. It must be very noisy. Motorway means like highway, fast way. So when we say it must be very noisy, we're 90% sure that it's going to be noisy since it's near the highway. Like I said, now let's go to can't. Let's explain can't. We use can't when we are 100% certain that something is impossible. So this is the opposite of must. So here we use can't when we are almost 100% certain that something is impossible. Impossible also means mustahil in Arabic. So I have an example here for you, and it says Ali can't be in Spain because I saw him driving past my house this morning. So he is 100% that he cannot be in Spain because he saw him. Seeing someone, you are sure that this person is not absent. They're, in fact, there. The second example, they haven't lived here for very long. They can't know many people. So since, let's say your neighbors have lived just for a month, you know that they can't really know many people because their situation, they haven't been in the area for long. Now let's see the difference between could and might. Now, could cannot be translated as يستطيع because it has nothing to do with that, because our lesson is all about possibilities. Okay, so we cannot translate could يستطيع. It doesn't work that way because this is a lesson about possibilities. So when do we use could? We use could to express strong possibility or probability. We use could to express strong possibility or probability. In Arabic, it's التعبير الاحتمالية or الإمكانية. احتمالية, possibility, probability, إمكانية. Okay, so don't get those mixed up. احتمالية and إمكانية. Strong means قوية, so strong احتمالية يعني احتمالية وإمكانية قوية جدا. That's when we use could. And here are some examples. Could is used to talk about theoretical possibility and is similar in meaning to might. Yani, in general, could and might are very similar. In the English language, they really can't tell them apart. But in our grammar, we should know the difference. So let's see the first example that I've given you. You need your calculator for your maths homework. It could be in your school bag. Yani, the teacher is saying you need your calculator. Go check if it's in your school bag. She has, an idea, a possibility that it could be since they use it every day. The next example is it could rain later. Take an umbrella. If you say it could rain later, then you have a possibility or a probability that you may have heard on the news that it was going to rain. So you're telling that person take an umbrella. Possibility احتمالية or إمكانية إنه راح تشتي. And the next example is extreme rain could cause the river to flood the city. This is a true fact, so knowing that a lot of rain, a lot of rain بسبب احتمالية كبيرة, strong احتمالية إنه راح يصير فيضان في السيتي إذا بضلها تشتي كتير. So those are the examples. Just look at them well, study them well. So moving along to might. Might expresses a weak degree of certainty. Only some degree of possibility. Yani, when you say might, you are very, very, like you have a very little chance of you're going to make it. And might is very weak degree, as we said in the definition. Like I said, might expresses a weak degree of certainty in Arabic. هي درجة الضعيفة of تأكد. درجة ضعيفة تأكد. Could is strong degree and might is weak degree. So they're the opposite. So in conclusion, could is strong possibility and might is remote possibility, and you're less sure when you say might. You're not sure. You're very less sure. Let's look at the examples that I have here. Oh dear, we're a bit late. We might miss the bus. So when you look at this sentence, you see we might miss the bus. Because they know that they're a bit late and they know the bus will leave on the dot. It will leave, let's say, at 9:30. and they're still not there, and it's 9:40, so there is a possibility that they're going to miss the bus. The second example, there are no clouds in the sky, but it might rain. It might rain, يعني a small chance لأنه ما في غيوم في السماء, so it might rain, it might not. And the last example, don't swim here. You might be attacked by sharks. يعني ما تسبح هون لأنه ممكن إنه القرش إنه attack you. Might يعني very small degree, يعني مش أكيد, but we know that there are sharks in the sea, and you don't know, but you might get attacked by a shark. So that's the difference between could and might, and must and can't. Like I said, it's simple grammar. Just know when to use each one. And that's it for this lesson. I hope you got a better understanding. Until next time.